Hello everybody, my name is Star Wars Boy, how are you? And welcome to a brand new Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. In this video, we are going to be taking a look at Anakin Skywalker, and we're going to be finishing up the light side lightsaber hero guides. Without further ado, let's get started. Taking a look at Anakin's base stats, he has a base health of 800, which is higher than any other light side saber hero in the game. He has a health regain of 250, which is the same as most saber heroes. His weapon is of course his iconic lightsaber, which we see throughout all three trilogies of Star Wars, and the damage is quite good. It does 130 damage to the front and 170 to the back, meaning it can one-hit every single class except the heavy. His stamina I'd classify as a 7 out of 10. It's really good, and he doesn't really seem to lose stamina or run out of it. His swing speed is 1.9 swings per second, which is on the higher end of most saber heroes in the game. Now, moving on to Anakin's abilities, his first being Pull Dominance, which has a 15-second cooldown. Anakin pulls enemies in front of him to a center point, leaving them open for attacks. The damage is actually really good, doing 120 to non-heroes and 80 to heroes. As for the pros, it knocks enemies down, which is really good, and has good damage. Compared to Kylo's Force Pull, this Force Pull has a really good damage. As for the cons, it does have a long animation, and you can't actually block during the animation. Therefore, you might want to do this animation while no one is shooting at you, or you could take a lot of damage. His second R1 ability is called Passionate Strike and has a quick 13-second cooldown. Anakin unleashes a heavy strike, breaking his opponent's guard and dealing high damage. Now, if you look closely at the animation, there's actually two swings, one where he lifts the saber and one where he's lowering the saber, and they both do damage actually. For the first swing, it does 70 to non-heroes and 40 to heroes, and the second swing does a massive 180 to non-heroes and 130 to heroes. As for the pros, it knocks enemies down and it does good damage. This ability has amazing damage, and I really didn't notice it until doing this hero guide, so I'm definitely gonna use this ability when I use Anakin. For me, I never really used this ability because it did have a long animation, which is the only con. However, the damage is so good that I feel like I do have to use it. It also damages opponents through blocks, which is something everyone loves. His middle ability is called Heroic Might and has 18 seconds of cooldown. Anakin takes highly reduced damage while holding the ability. When released, he pushes all enemies around him, with damage and range being increased by the amount of damage taken while held. Now the damage is 120 for non-heroes and 90 for heroes. As for the pros, it knocks enemies down. It has really good range. I swear, when I use Anakin on feed, I basically kill the entire team using this ability. It also has 90% damage reduction, meaning you're probably not going to die by using this ability. And it also charges up over time, meaning you can gain more and more damage. Now, believe me, this ability is not what it was before. Back when Anakin launched, you could one-hit an entire team of enemy heroes by doing this ability. However, they did fix him, so he can't do that. As for cons, I'd say there are honestly none. This is probably his best ability. Now, moving on to Anakin's fourth exclusive ability, it is called Retribution and has a 2,500 damage recharge. What I mean by this is Anakin and his teammates around him must take 2,500 damage before this ability is available. Now, the duration is around 3 seconds, making this ability really deadly. As for the damage, the choke of the ability does 200 to non-heroes and 150 to heroes, and the push does 100 to non-heroes and 75 to heroes. So looking at the whole animation, he does 300 damage to non-heroes and 225 to heroes, making this ability really deadly. As for the pros, it again knocks people down. This happens to all Anakin's abilities where he has the capability to ragdoll, so this is not really a surprise. It also has really good range. The range is a lot better than his heroic might. It also again has 90% damage reduction just like his heroic might. As for cons, I'd honestly say I have no cons of this ability. It is meant to be an exclusive ability with a special requirement. However, this ability is really great, and it may be the reason why Anakin is so powerful. Now, moving on to his star cards, the first star card I recommend using is his Tenacious card. Anakin Skywalker has increased maximum health. This of course brings his health pool to 100 with a 25 increase to 100 increase with a maxed star card. The reason I do this is because obviously more health is better. Even though Anakin is already so powerful, more health with him will help other players out. Now moving on to his second card, I'd recommend using the Raw Strength card. Heroic Might deals more base damage. It goes from 20 damage to 50 damage with a maxed out star card. Now the reason I say this is because more people and more characters will tend to run away when they see an Anakin charging up his heroic might for 10 years. So if you have the opportunity to go into a room and be able to use it right away and deal a lot of damage, then that's a really good thing. Now, the final star card I recommend using is his Massive Strikes card. Anakin deals more damage with his lightsaber attacks, but they drain more stamina. Now, the damage goes from 50 damage to 20 damage, which is really good. Now, the reason I use this card is because it helps out a lot. I like Anakin's playstyle because he's one of the most aggressive characters in the game, having a lot of aggressive abilities and mostly that playstyle. So having more damage to my swings really helps. Now, as for Anakin's best maps, these are 3 maps that I feel like Anakin excels on. The first one is Naboo. Naboo is a really good map for not Anakin, but mostly every single character in the game. So if you see Naboo on this list, don't really be surprised. The second map is the Death Star 2 because it's really close quarter and doesn't really offer enemies a chance to escape, meaning that you can pretty much lock down the entire team with your one Retribution. The final map I recommend is Starkiller Base, which is the oddball out. Now this map is probably one of the weirdest maps ever because most people don't really play this map. However, it's amazing for Anakin mainly because it has that second phase. The second phase is one of the most hardest phases in the game, mainly because it's such a choke point. But if the enemies are on the stairs, then you can just go up there, use your heroic might and Retribution and get a lot of kills. Now, moving on to some tips and tricks with Anakin. The first one is to not play like amazingly aggressive. Now, Anakin is obviously supposed to play aggressive, but not the word I just used. When I see a lot of noobs picking Anakin, I see them rushing to the enemy spawns because they know how powerful he once was. However, they just die instantly because he's simply not as good as he was before. Now, you want to play super aggressive, but you do not want to play that aggressive with him. The second tip I'd say is to not use your heroic might on 1 or 2 people. Now, the reason I say this is because I find myself in pretty sticky situations when there's the entire team on me and I have my heroic might on recharge. So it's important to save up that ability when you most need it, as when you're gonna get a 10+ kill with that one ability. And the final one is to not waste your Retribution. Now, I think this is something everyone knows. However, I still see people doing it and it pisses me off. Not just for me, but for them as well, because they spent 2,500 damage to upgrade that ability and they use it on 1 person. Now, you can use it on 1 person, however, the Retribution is meant to take out the entire team, so try using it on that because it will get you a lot more kills. So that is going to be it for this hero guide, guys. We have 1 more to go, and then we are going to be doing how to get kill streaks with lightsaber characters. Following that, we're going to be doing blaster character guides, and finally, the reinforcement guides, and then the class guides. So we have a lot more content to go before we're done here. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I also have a Discord, which is pretty fun. If you feel like joining, be sure to check out the link in the description down below. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye, and may the Force be with you always.